topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Good afternoon, Arizona and Nevada. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show. You know, we get so many letters from you, and a lot of them are letters that are saying, why don't you do this type of show? Why don't you do this type of show? And for the Arizona, Nevada area, tax relief. I cannot believe how many tax relief letters we've got, but we made a position on our show to do a tax relief show, and we are so glad we have one of the top tax relief companies in the United States. And I got to tell you, it is so important when you hire a company, and you should hire a company to handle this for you, that it's somebody you can trust, someone that you know is going to have great customer service, and mostly that you're going to be there. They're going to be there when you need them most. So let me welcome our new show, our expert, Sarah Dierlein with Community Tax Relief. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Steve-O. Thanks for having me.
Hey, we are so glad. You have no idea. I don't have to worry about letters and people going, how come you never respond to my letters and put on a show like this? Well, here we go. And you'll be with us again next month and the month after. And I have got so many questions for you. But before we do that, tell everybody about Community Tax Relief.
Sure. A little bit about Community Tax Relief. We've been in business for 14 years. We are a fully bilingual, full-service tax relief company, which means that we specialize not only in preparing back taxes, but we specialize in resolving tax debts for our clients and delivering peace of mind every day. And we do that both in English and in Spanish for every client who interacts. They can speak the language of their preference, which is huge because taxes are complicated. They can be scary. They can be intimidating. And being able to work with your team in a way that you feel most comfortable with is at the top of our mind every single day.
You know what I love about your company? That what you actually do is you give someone who has got problems with the IRS, don't we all, have problems with the IRS, and you make it a level playing field.
Well, thank you for that. We do try. So one thing about community tax is that we are absolutely relentless in our pursuit of results for our clients. We know the IRS rule book. Sometimes we joke we know it better than them, but we are there. We are on our client's side, and we're ready to fight as hard as we need to get them the best possible results. There are solutions out there for folks struggling with tax problems, and if you are one of those folks who are, you're not sure what to do, you're starting to get the IRS letters coming in the mail and you need help, please do give us a call. Our consultation is absolutely free. And we will be there to answer any questions for you. One thing about community tax is that we believe in making promises we can keep. So our approach is very different than a lot of other folks. We do a full investigation and tell you exactly how we're going to solve your problem before you move forward with the actual program.
Yeah, because there's not one program that's cookie cutter for everybody. Everybody's situation is different.
That's absolutely correct. There is no two taxpayers program that's going to be identical, because everybody's facts and circumstances are totally different. And the IRS must consider your facts and circumstances and your full financial situation when placing you in a program. Now, if you work directly with them, they might not give you the opportunity to discuss all of that with them. They might not make you feel like you have options, but you absolutely do. And your options are as unique as your circumstances.
And good luck getting a hold of them, too.
That's right. It is a challenge.
Yes. So you brought up about the letter. So, people get these letters from the IRS in the mail, and what they do is they put them, they don't even open them. They don't want to know they're too scared to open them. So they put them in a drawer thinking they're going to disappear.
They do. We hear that from our clients all the time. I've received a bunch of IRS letters, but I haven't opened them. And that's okay. If that's where you're at, we'll meet you where you're at. So if you're too scared to open those letters, we'll open those letters with you. We'll be by your side and we'll do a complete investigation into your tax situation with you. So that way you know what's going on and you're hearing it from a trusted voice. But my recommendation always is don't ignore this problem. Either open those letters and read what's going on and reach out and do your research and find someone that you trust to help you with it, or call us and we'll do that with you.
You're absolutely right. And I here's something else that you do. It is got to be a horrible feeling knowing that the IRS is after you. What you do, what your company does, is once they sign with you, they no longer have to talk to the IRS anymore, do they?
No, that's right. So we take over all communications on our clients' behalf. Now, the IRS does still mail our clients their letters directly. We'll get copies, but they still have an obligation legally to send the letters directly to the taxpayer as well. So that's a point of confusion for folks. They're like, wait a second, I hired you, but I'm still getting these letters. We try to always explain, you're going to get the letters, but that's okay. So are we. And if you ever have a question about a letter you receive, if you haven't already heard from us about it, you can call us and we'll be right there to answer those questions. But in terms of actually communicating with the IRS directly, our clients do not do that. We take over all communications and we actually make sure to communicate with the client all the way through the process and make sure that they're there as an active participant, making the decisions that need to be made with us along the way so that they're fully informed and fully comfortable.
Well, we just, when you open up a business and you put that first dollar bill in a frame, well, you're our first tax relief show. And we just got our first text for the show. I don't know how we'll frame this, but anyway, enjoying the show. Thank you for taking my recommendation. Well, there's about 15 or 20 of you, but I want to know, does Community also handle businesses?
Yes, we do. So if you have a business and you have outstanding taxes, a lot of times what we see are outstanding payroll taxes really come to mind for business owners. And the payroll taxes are some of the trickiest taxes to deal with because there's actually rules in place where the IRS can personally assess business tax civil penalties for outstanding payroll debt. It's called the trust fund recovery penalty. So yes, we help business owners if you just haven't filed your business tax returns, if you need help finding out answers about, do I owe? I'm not sure if my business is up to date. Maybe you acquired a business, but we take care of all of that for our clients as well.
Well, I got to put this in because we promoted that you were going to be on the show today, and we got several letters from truck drivers, Sarah. Apparently, truck drivers have problems doing their taxes and they get behind.
Absolutely. Well, I don't know that it's just truck drivers. I say a lot of people have challenges doing their taxes and getting behind. Anybody who's self-employed, but truck drivers in particular, think about it. They're on the road. They're working hard.
Yes.
When are they going to have time to sit down and do their taxes? And so I will say Community Tax helps a ton, thousands of truck drivers every year. And so if you're looking for somebody with experience, our team's absolutely ready to help you. Nobody out there with a tax problem needs to face this alone. That's what I'm going to keep saying. You do have options, and we are here to not only help you with those actually executing those options, but just letting you know what those are. That's our very first thing that we do with somebody is just lay out all of their options for them.
Sarah, I think it's so important that a person does not try to handle this themselves because they could end up saying the wrong thing. And when they have you, you know all the right things to say. And I must imagine that you get people who start off trying to handle it themselves and got themselves into a real mess, and you got to clean that mess up.
It does happen, of course. And what I'll say is that when you make an agreement with the IRS, it's not necessarily set in stone. People's lives change, things happen, and maybe you didn't have the opportunity to explain all of your circumstances to the IRS when you made an arrangement with them. Maybe you were so scared you agreed to pay an amount per month that is completely unreasonable and unrealistic for you, and now you're doing without real necessities because you're trying to pay back tax to the IRS. That's not what you need to be doing. If you feel like you're in that situation, like you've already gotten in too deep with the IRS, I can tell you you haven't. um, you're allowed to speak with the IRS on your own. You're allowed to represent yourself with the IRS. I sometimes joke and say, I am allowed to cut my own hair too, but I don't think it would look as nice if I did. And so having a professional on your side, if you can find one that you trust and that you feel confident in representing you, I always recommend that because this is what we do. And it's a lot of work to do on your own.
We got another text now from Ben in Las Vegas, wants to know, if I declare bankruptcy, can I include my debt to the IRS?
In some circumstances. So there are very specific rules around IRS tax debt and bankruptcy. I'm not a bankruptcy attorney, so I'm actually not going to get into those rules too much. What I recommend to a client who is struggling with a lot of different types of debts, there is no same thing with community tax. Call us for a free consultation. Go to a bankruptcy attorney. A lot of them offer free consultations. Just make sure you trust that person and you feel good about the direction that they're moving you forward in. But yet, the answer to your question directly, yes, some IRS debts are dischargeable in certain bankruptcy. However, not all of them. And if you have recent tax debts, for example, those are more likely not to qualify for a bankruptcy than older debts.
Okay. So you are so knowledgeable about this. What is your role in community tax?
Sure. So, first of all, I'm an enrolled agent, which means I'm admitted to practice before the IRS to represent taxpayers. I've been an enrolled agent since 2012. My role at Community Tax is Vice President Enterprise. And so, my focus there is on operational management, as well as enhancing the client experience and incorporating innovative technology or strategic partnerships to better serve our clients. My mission every day is pretty simple. It's to ensure that every client who seeks assistance from us receives the best possible outcome. And I lead a team that is absolutely passionate in delivering great results for our clients and makes promises we can keep.
God, it's so obvious. Hey, let's what someone just wrote. What is your phone number?
My phone
We are
number.
we're scrolling it right now, but with all the people on radio and iHeart, what is the phone number?
Sure. If you'd like to reach out to Community Tax, our phone number is 312-379-8540. And I'm going to say that one more time.
Please.
312-379-8540.
Now, 2023, is that different? Is that a different tax season than we've had, like, say, since 2020?
Oh, absolutely. So 2023 is actually closer to pre-COVID pandemic tax years than ever before with the IRS. And what I mean by that is the last few years, folks have been really filing their tax returns, riding the wave of COVID relief credits. And the IRS has been very busy administering to all of that. Okay. Just now in 2023, for this tax season coming up, we're seeing that a lot of folks are hesitating to file their tax return. And there's some speculation out there. It's because in the news, we've heard that Congress might be passing expanded child relief tax credit, right? And so if they're gonna give me more money, why would I file now? Well, I'm gonna say that there is no harm in filing now. If you are making plans to file your tax returns, I always say the sooner the better. Why? Because if you are due additional credits later on, the IRS is going to publish easy ways for you to claim it, or they might just administer it automatically for you. Okay, if the Senate actually passes that bill. But if you owe, or if you're not sure if you're going to owe or not, having the power of time on your side by filing that tax return now gives you until April 15th to pay it, or gives you until April 15th to come up with a plan if you can't pay it. And so I always recommend to everybody, file as early as possible. You'll be armed with knowledge, and there's no reason to wait. The other thing that we're seeing that's completely different than what we've seen since 2020 is that the IRS is actually collecting tax returns again, or tax debts again. So they haven't issued IRS collection notices since 2020. They officially paused them in 2022, but they were so busy with shutdowns and other acts in 2020 and 2021, they weren't administering collections then either. So if you have a tax debt, you're going to be hearing from the IRS this year, and that's the biggest change that's happening.
What, people get these collection notices. Tell people why they're so important.
Well, the IRS will not call you or email you out of the blue. They'll never email you. That's a scam if you get that. So the only official IRS correspondence that you can count on is these mailed IRS notices. And so this is going to let you know that the IRS believes that you owe a tax debt and that their intention is to collect that debt. So that's the most important thing you can get from IRS is a letter. And so that's why I think it causes so much anxiety, because people know an IRS letter is serious, right? And
Yes.
so it's really important to read them. And if you can't, it's really important to seek help to guide you through that process.
How do they know if it's real? Because I hear there's so many scams that go on.
Okay, yes, there are so many scams. So first of all, genuine IRS collections are going to have the official logo. They're going to state your information. It should be accurate, and it's going to have details about whatever they're mailing you about, usually unpaid taxes. The thing is that if you're unsure, it's better to call the IRS and check or verify its authenticity, or reach out to a tax professional that you trust to verify its authenticity, excuse me, because there are a ton of scams out there. So if anyone's calling you claiming to be the IRS or sending you a letter and it just doesn't feel right to you, it's better to verify on your own than to trust that, because they are going to probably try to ask for very sensitive information like your social security number.
Wow. What should a taxpayer do when they receive a collection notice? I think the first thing they should do is call you.
Well, thank you for that. I would love for them to call us if they receive a notice. But what I always tell my clients is, first of all, don't panic. Okay, the IRS is aggressive. They can do damage, right? But if you're getting IRS notices now, then you have time to act, because the IRS sends notices in an escalating series. The first letter you ever receive is not going to be the worst letter you ever receive. If you act, you could avoid some of those scarier letters. So first of all, don't panic. Like I said, if you're willing to, open it up, read it, review it carefully, and then go find help or seek. The IRS offers assistance directly as well. They have online resources, online tools. They have taxpayer advocates and low-income taxpayer clinics. So yeah, just don't panic.
Not going to go away, is it?
No, it's not.
Have you had the opportunity yet to work with any of these new 87,000 agents?
So, there's a lot of that in the news. The IRS has been hiring consistently for several years, right? And so we do work with different agents all the time. A lot of them we know by name now, even though they work at big call centers. So the 87,000 agents were actually a hire over the period of 10 years. So I think even if the IRS wanted to hire 87,000 folks tomorrow, they really couldn't find those folks ready to work for them. And so I don't want people to be too worried about all of a sudden there's 87,000 new agents. But what is a real concern that I worry about the general public for is that they haven't heard from the IRS about tax problems for 3 years. And they're going to start hearing about them this year. And if they don't have a plan, or if they don't know what to do once it's time to pay the piper, then they could get in a world of trouble with escalated collection enforcement activity.
I got to tell you, this is kind of a surprise. I haven't told you or David yet, but when we were promoting you coming on the show today, I received a phone call from an ex-client of yours.
Oh, really?
And, well, it was even better than great. It was, first of all, they said that you knew more than I guess, the tax officer you were dealing with, that you had to tell them, I guess, remind them about the laws, which blew me away. But most of all, they said that the work that you did, and I'm God, I wanted to get him on air to do this, but he said the work that your company did and why he was calling saved his life. And I went, wow. I said, please, can't you come on and I'll give you the phone number. But that was amazing because you never know who's listening to the show. But you've been in business for so long, which is so important, because I got to tell you, we do a lot of research before we bring an expert on. And I got to tell you that in your field, you've really got to be careful on who you hire. And the biggest complaint was people saying that once they signed, no one ever returned their phone call. They're not going to have that problem with community tax.
Well, we try very hard for them not to feel like they have that problem with community tax, right? So I will say, first of all, whoever called into the show that was a former client of ours, thank you for calling in
Yes.
and sharing your story. If you took down the number, call us back and let me know
Yes.
who you were, so I can thank you personally. It's wonderful to hear that we've made such a positive impact in your life. What I'll say is this: community tax, and the reason why I choose to be at community tax as somebody who is very passionate about helping taxpayers with tax debt issues, I've dedicated my entire career so far to this, is that we really do want to do the right thing. So if ever a client isn't happy, we are going to help make that right. We're going to do the right thing by that client. No business is ever going to make everybody happy, but we
Right.
strive every day. And I can tell you the common thread behind every single person on the community tax team, because we started out as a very small business and we've grown since, but the common thread that we've kept is that we hire people who care, and they feel like they come to work every day and truly help people. So hearing stories like that, it made my day.
Yeah, I said, I asked him, I said, let me give you their number. And he said, I already have it.
And I hope I hear from him, because I'd really love to thank him personally.
Yeah, I was really embarrassed. We're getting towards the end of the show. One of the things I want to ask you is what if somebody can't pay their debt in full?
So that's almost everybody we encounter. Times are never easy, but I'd say right now, most families are worried about putting food on the table, paying the lights,
Yes.
paying their mortgage, and taking care of their kids, right? So what is left over for back taxes? Generally not much, right? For a lot of folks. And if you can pay, there's options that are good for you too, that community tax can help you with. But if you feel like you're looking at that bill and there is no way to overcome it, I'm telling you that the IRS has a ton of options out there for you. The IRS follows many rules, but one rule is that they can't cause you financial hardship. That's a very technical thing with the IRS, but we're experts at coming up with the best possible solution to your tax problem based on your unique facts and circumstances. That means your finances. And so if you can't afford to pay, there's options out there that will delay collections, like a hardship, currently non-collectible. There's also settlement options. You hear it a lot on the radio ads and things like that, not necessarily from us, but in the industry, offer and compromise. Somebody settled my debt for, $1,500 when I owed $50,000. Those are real results that can happen for folks. But we certainly don't promise results we can't keep. So what we do is our first interaction with you is a free consultation. Our second interaction with you, if you want to move forward, is that we're going to be delivering a complete investigation, which means that we're going to have all of your financial circumstances. We're going to have all of your IRS account records, because we're going to have called the IRS on your behalf and gotten all of that information. And then we're going to have my team that I actually directly lead at Community Tax, our investigations team. It's a team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents that review all of the information and put together a personalized case strategy for your case, and then says, this is how we are going to solve your problem for you. And this is what it looks like on the other side. And that's huge. And to have that within a week or two of working with us, and have those answers and be working towards a common goal with our team together, I think that's the very first step in a journey towards peace of mind. And at the end of the day, I want all of my clients to feel like they can sleep again with ease, that we made such a positive impact like your previous caller.
Wow, you have blown me away. This is your first show. You have done so well. We've already gotten 4 texts ready for the first show. You're going to be back with us again next month.
I'd love to be back with you.
Yeah, it's too long a distance, but listen, we've had so many people ask us to add this for Arizona and Nevada and Texas and some of our other states. I'm going to end this. I'm going to put you on the spot. Why should I hire Community Tax Relief?
Sure. So if you have outstanding tax balances or outstanding tax returns for years you haven't filed, and you are looking for a company that you can trust, a company that stands by the promises that they make, a company that will always make it right if we ever let you down, and a company that can meet you where you're at and address your case in a way that is as unique as your family, where you won't just be a number, but you will be a name. By all means, choose Community Tax. We are full of the type of passion I've brought today, and I appreciate Steve-O, you having us. If there's more questions for the next show, I'd be happy to answer their questions. And can I leave our number one more time? Just in
Absolutely. I was going to ask you. And
good.
give me your website address too.
Absolutely. So website, you can just search us at communitytax.com. And then the best phone number to call us on is 312-379-8540. Feel free to do that. You don't have to wait for the IRS letters to catch up with you. If you know or think you might have a tax problem, just reach out. It's a free consultation, and you'll have a little bit more peace of mind at the end of that first call.
Well, I got to tell you, first of all, the show has gone by so fast. I have so many more questions for you. But again, you will be back again next month. And this is really important. Let's say you have a relative in San Antonio, Texas. You can still call Community Tax Relief. So if you've got a friend or a family member, you're going to do them a favor. Don't let them go through this themselves. That's why I'm so glad that we have a show like this, that we can educate you. And I guarantee you we did that today. So tell David hello for us. We're so glad you are our expert, and we'll see you again next month.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Steve-O. Talk then.
Thank you. That's Community Tax Relief. God, we're lucky to have them. Their phone number is, again, 312-379-8540. That's it for us today. Everybody, enjoy the weekend. Be blessed. Stay cool. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.